to another edition of Igniting American Manufacturing. Brian Sexton in Jacksonville, and our co-host, Rory Komisky, is in Stuttgart, Germany. He is at the Battery Show, and we'll get the entire update there. And our special guest today from the Atlanta area is Robin Moore from Southwire. But Rory, before we start, how's life in Germany, my friend?
You know what? I'm exhausted. I had a great day. I've been at the Battery Show Europa, or Battery Show Europe, meeting some great folks. I was visiting some of my compatriots at Battery Associates, international group that works in workforce development and obviously EV sector. Right around the corner from our booth was CASE, the Council for American States in Europe, and they had representatives from the Economic Development Board in New York State. They had folks from Kentucky. They had folks from the Carolinas and folks from Ohio, all talking to companies that are actually doing manufacturing in the United States. I will be back over there tomorrow doing a few impromptu interviews with those. So looking forward to it. I had a great conversation. Some great stuff going on, learning a bunch. Did want to mention, we had a conversation last week about the Biden and Trump administration, some bipartisan things going on along tariffs, but did a little research and found a really great article about another act, and that is Invented Here, Build It Here, and that act actually has bipartisan support as well. Seems to be something, pragmatic and makes sense. But if we spend American dollars, tax dollars, research in grants, allowing people to do research on products, then when those things need become to be produced, they need to be produced in the United States. It's real simple, and that lends itself more to like the pharmaceutical, where a lot of the research is done here, and then we take that over and make it, in Asia or Europe or anywhere else. So bipartisan support there. Always love when I see Congress actually working hand in hand, the parties reaching across the table. Doesn't happen very often, but here's one that affects manufacturing and just makes good common sense. We spend the money to do the research. We should get the benefit of it, and that should be made here and produce American jobs. So always good to see stuff like that. But yeah, having a great time over here, learning a bunch, and we'll be talking to many more people over the next 3 days, and trying to gather good information and bring it back to move the ball forward, igniting American manufacturing. So
that's what this show is all about. So let's bring our guest in, Robin Moore from Southwire. Rory, it's a family-owned and operated cable company up in the Atlanta area. Robin, welcome.
Thank you.
We talk about American manufacturing here. Give us your perspective, since you not only have worked with Southwire for more than a year, but have more than 20 years in the manufacturing spaces, finance in the manufacturing spaces. Give us your perspective on where American financing is at in 2024.
Yeah, I think 2024 for American finance, I think we're uniquely positioned to reset from the pickup from the response to our COVID-19 impacts, to direct how we want the business to go moving forward. We're able to make processes, put people in place, and establish our organization such that we not only are dealing with what our customers' needs are, ever changing, but we also are dealing with the ever changing needs of our employees, and in tandem able to answer those in a unique way that we've not seen before.
So Robin, that sounds awesome, and I always love hearing family-owned business. Can you tell me a little bit, any trends you're actually seeing? Are you seeing an increase in needs? Are you seeing more orders? What growth period, slow period? Talk to me a little bit.
Yeah, so I think there's always going to be a need, especially for some of the manufacturing organizations. As you touch the consumers, they're going to be consistently buying, especially if you're in a needs-based industry. For Southwire specifically in the construction, we've seen the ups and downs with construction, and we'll continue to see that we grow in that space. As we mentioned, getting involved in new industries, in the EV industry, and making an impact there. So we're seeing the trends growing, um, uh, primarily because the markets are growing now, but also because we're traditionally in the manufacturing industry able to pivot to where the needs are of the organization. I think those that get left behind are those who stay where they used to win, and those that win are those who move towards where our consumers and our businesses are moving to.
Okay. Well, you said a lot of good things there, and I agree with you. The ability to pivot and transformation right now is critical. I think manufacturing in the United States, manufacturing worldwide, globally, is in a huge transition period here. We're hearing things like smart manufacturing, digital transition, digital factories, and virtual factories. You actually said something else there. A couple of things I keyed on. You mentioned semiconductor briefly, but you mentioned a foray into the EV sector. So obviously, I'm here at the EV battery, so I do work in this space. I come from a semiconductor background, but the EV space is definitely growing, particularly in the U.S. in the Southeast. And I can tell you today, I was peppered by questions about from European counterparts here that have factories and facilities on both sides of the pond about all the growth in the United States. They're amazed at the pace here. They're not as we're not running quite as hard as us, but are you seeing a growth in the EV sector, and is Livewire involved in that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's wide open. Not only because the demand is there for the consumers. Frankly, the business, the B2B usage of EV is up and trending ever up. We also have we're using the technology and able to, I think, do more with less. We're able to extend the times that our customers are out. You think about someone out using RV, maybe using some solar power, using a combination of different things. The entire industry is changing because of the move to EV. You look at your UPS, your FedEx, your Amazons are now using EV. I think that market, we will see that market growing, but we'll also see the ancillary markets that are offshoots of EV that'll start, EV charging stations. There'll be different ones. There will be big trucks. For those who like their big trucks, there'll be the small electrical cars, fast charging, home charging, all of those things that are fairly new to us here still in the States will boom. And I anticipate that we'll see that be more and more of a staple as we move towards that EV market in many facets of our lives, and not just in our personal vehicles. We'll see that across more than one industry.
Sure. There's an anisette term that's growing among folks, and when we say EV, we actually talk about the EV ecosystem. We talk a little bit about battery recycling, the mineral processing, and not just the cars itself. So yeah, it's growing. So there's a lot of other things besides the actual battery in that car. It's the recycling, the processing it, and then even so when you talk about solar panels, you talk about BES, and that's the actual battery storage. The day when you had a diesel generator at your house for hurricanes down the south is gone. You're going to have a power wall in your garage, or some Tesla's Powerwall, or some other manufacturer. So all growth potential, all growth manufacturing, and all good jobs. Livewire, are you in those segments as well?
When you said Livewire, did you mean Southwire?
I'm sorry, Southwire. I'm sorry about that. I apologize. Livewire is
Okay.
actually one of my competitors, so I just gave him some free airtime there.
Yeah,
Well, let me
yeah,
jump
yeah.
in here, Rory, and ask you, Robin, about workforce development. Obviously, in the
Yeah.
manufacturing sector, it is a major issue going forward. What is Southwire doing, both in Atlanta and maybe around the country, where you work to help develop the workforce and build American manufacturing employees?
Yeah, so um, that is going to be the number two issue to address. You're always looking towards the growth and how do we grow the market. We here at Southwire talk about wanting to be the employer of choice. The only way to do that is to create an environment where folks want to come to our organization. I think we've done a great job at that. The second piece, or the second arm of that, is to create space for them to stay, right? So one of the things that we talk about here, and frankly, it's my personal mantra, is if you've got to upskill in your role. Many people, gone are the days of coming in and doing the job. We want folks that are coming in that are upskilling or learning. If you're out on the shop floor, and you're making things, maybe you make more than one thing. If you're like myself and you're in the finance department, maybe you learn a little bit more about what the accounting side is doing. And so what we've fostered an environment of and remove the stigma around is, the idea that you have to stay enrolled for longer periods of time. We're embracing what the employees are telling us they want, which is they want to experience different facets of the organization, and we're big enough to provide that to them. And so that's how we're able to begin to create an environment that fosters the growth that frankly we'll use, right? You think long term and you keep an employee, if you can keep them for 10 years, and even if they're in three different roles, they're able to, hopefully with each move, whether laterally or promotion, be able to provide more and more of a service to the organization because of the experiences that they're gathering from the previous roles. And so that is where I see the future of our roles going. Yeah, we can talk about the difference between someone who comes in office and someone who stays at home and is remote. But I think the bigger issue for us, and how do we provide the service to our employees, is create this environment for them where they're able to come, not only enjoy being here, but also have a place to grow and put leaders in place that's able to help them with that growth.
Robin, thanks so much for sharing your decades of experience in American manufacturing. Congratulations for all your success at Southwire. And we hope as American manufacturing continues to grow and innovate and create new opportunities and ideas, you'll come back and share those with us.
Robin, before we go,
Yeah.
Robin, I actually want to say, I thought what you talked about upskilling and retention was amazing. I applaud you for that. I think that, workforce development is great, but the retention part is as important, or probably more important. I think you're absolutely, and I want to talk to you about that at greater length at another time. That's absolutely awesome and needs to be applauded. Thank you for doing that. Thank your firm for doing that. That's great. Great stuff. Love hearing that.
Thank
So
you
for
both.
Rory Komisky from Stuttgart, Germany, and our special guest, Robin Moore from Atlanta, that'll do it for this edition of Igniting American Manufacturing. We'll see you next time.
Fusion IRX is an iteration of firms I've worked with over the years. And I think we've taken the best pieces of the different firms I worked in and pulled it together. We're subject matter experts at the end of the day. So we work in high-tech manufacturing. We are open to looking at other things, but we kind of really stick to semiconductor, where my roots are. It's where I originally came from. The EV ecosystem, whether it's battery manufacturing, auto, recycling, mineral processing, and then finally the global data sphere, so building data centers. That's not really manufacturing, but then again, it kind of is. We're good at what we do, and we have a lot of passion about it, and we can help you.